Hi. Um, I've been thinking a little bit about just life in general since Charlie got killed, and I've actually been pretty depressed about it. I didn't wake up this morning with. I've actually been overwhelmed with grief, especially in the mornings about it. It's not like Charlie was a perfect man. I didn't even know the guy. Didn't know him at all, other than the persona that he let us see. Um, Seemed like a pretty decent guy, though. Seemed like an authentic person that was grounded in his convictions, and you got to respect that. At least I do, or did, for him. But I can't help but think that if you're a believer like I am, I can't help but think that we're sort of all collectively to blame for how that went out, how he died. Not how he died. It's not our fault that somebody shot him, but you know, ever since the government didn't hold up DOMA back in 2015, marriage has not just been men and women; it's been whatever, and incrementalism is a thing. And so now we've got a bunch of people in this country that think that there's 100 genders, when science will tell you there's only two. Um, nature understands this, but we've got human beings that don't get this, and they're fully convicted in that belief that gender is a very fluid thing. That it's a social construct, not something that's biological, something that's determined long before you're born. But yeah, fully committed to this ideology now, and it's turned into a full blown religion of sorts called wokeism. And I'm really concerned, actually, for all of us, because the people that are conservative, they're the ones that keep this whole thing together. To be honest, we're the ones that do the work. We're the ones that keep the whole thing running. The left tends to be creative, or more so, and there's a place for that in our society. But as far as actually getting your hands dirty and doing the work, that's on us. That's what we do. So the danger there is that I'm afraid that we may have been pushed too far. I know personally for myself, I haven't. I'm going to be completely committed to the better end, to upholding the teachings of Yeshua. That's my commitment to myself, which means that I have to love my enemies and I have to pray for them, regardless of how angry I get about listening to somebody talk about gender fluidity and how sodomy is an acceptable act. I don't believe either of those things are true. And I don't care about your feelings. I really don't. It used to be called gender dysphoria. We used to be labeled as a mental illness to want to be the other gender, and now we just view it like it's a preference on ice cream. I like vanilla, you like chocolate. 6 in one hand, half dozen in the other. It's not like that. It's foundational to a society, to our families, to how we conduct ourselves. And I don't know. Charlie was, for as young as he was extremely accomplished. I really feel, I know for a fact the guy accomplished more in his short life than I have in mine, and I'm considerably older than he is. I mean, I'll be 59 here at the end of this year, and I think he was only 31. So, um, quite humbled, just considering what a work ethic he had and a vision. I think that God actually did send him to us for a reason, knowing he would only be here for a while. But I really believe that if we had been doing our job and saying no to the culture around us when it would be, obviously evil, we didn't push back. We just were nice and quiet, and we just figured you guys would figure it out. And the only thing you figured out was that you needed to double down on your commitment to the idea that we're a bunch of fascists. Do you even know the definition of fascism? It's we're not fascists. Fascists don't talk. Fascists demand. That's all they do is they make demands. Charlie wasn't a fascist. Charlie just wanted to talk. He just wanted to debate ideas, and that's about the most American thing there is. And he couldn't handle that. And I'm afraid that there's a good number of people in this country that are more tired of it than I am, which is sort of hard to believe because I'm exhausted by what we deal with here in this country with all the wokeism. I mean, it has infected every area of our society. We've got generals now that are transgendered. I mean, it's just nuts, totally nuts. I just feel bad for Charlie. He shouldn't have. He had the courage to speak his mind and to say what was right, which is a godly thing to do, and we're commanded to all do that. We are all commanded to speak the truth, and to be honest, I don't think we've been doing that. I think we've been doing it with our families. At least I know I have, or tried to, but we certainly haven't been doing it with our neighbors. We haven't been making our voices known, and that's a moral failing for us as a collective unit, the conservatives. I saw that video of Charlie getting killed, and I'll never see that again. Never want to see that again. Our children are all grown now. They're adults. I can't imagine having a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old not being there for them, not helping your wife raise them. It's not right. And really, about the only thing worse than that was the reaction from the left in seeing that he got killed. And I realize it's not every leftist, but my gosh, I mean, I think it's fair to say that it's thousands, maybe tens of thousands. But the jubilation, the ecstasy that a lot of these folks felt from him being murdered. Folks, I don't think you understand how poorly, or how what's the word I'm looking for here? That's not sinking a little bit. That's really, really sinking hard and fast. You don't want to go there. I mean, unfortunately, you've gone there. And by taking delight in somebody's demise, trust me, God isn't happy with that. It says in the Word that He's angry with the wicked every day. You just need to repent. I know you won't. Nobody who celebrated his death has any clue what I'm talking about when I say that, because you'd have to be somewhat humble to get that, to do that. But I fear for my country, and I really hope we can pull it together I really do, because where this seems to be headed is sort of dystopian and nightmarish. And for the party that preaches gun control, you guys sure seem to like weapons. And I don't think the leftists thought this through very well, because if you guys want a civil war, starting that with a group of people that are known for lots of weapons, not a good look, not a good move. I mean, just on a numbers basis, guns per capita, we're probably up there at the top, and it's all on the right side. I mean, we've got some outliers there, but for the most part, you lefties don't like guns, do you? I mean, anyway, I know I'm talking about something stupid now, but I just hope we can pull it together. And I would implore all of my fellow Christian brothers and sisters to show restraint and just think about every time in the past 10 years that you should have said something when somebody said something that wasn't true. John 7:24 says that we're to judge with righteous judgment. And somewhere along the line, the devil got all of us convinced that it's wrong to judge. The reality is that we if you didn't judge on a daily basis, you'd be dead by noon. All of us would. We make judgments every day. And calling out people that insist there's 100 genders, that's just not true. It's not true. There's 2. That's it. It's always been just 2. Anyway, that's all I got to say. If you don't know the Messiah, Yeshua, I recommend that you seek him out while he can be found, because the time is drawing near. It's drawing to a close. It really is. And people have been saying that for thousands of years, but there's a lot going on in the world right now that really points towards this thing coming to a close. It really does. We've got AI on the horizon, and I just worry about our freedom and where this is going. Anyway, have a good day.